Are you wondering where to eat near the Vatican? Visiting the Vatican is intense, and I always need some sustenance, whether before, after, or even during my visit there. I know you might be thinking that places to eat and drink near the Vatican are all overpriced tourist traps, but think again. Plenty of Romans live in this area, and they know where to go. Also, just because something is near a popular tourist site does not mean that it's necessarily a bad place to eat or drink. On the other hand, there are plenty of mediocre places to eat in the area, and even worse, places that will make you feel as if you've been ripped off. It is all too easy to end up paying too much for a meal that isn't worth it. Let's make sure that doesn't happen to you. In this video, I'm going to share with you my favorite cafes, quick lunch spots, sit-down restaurants, wine bars, and gelateria near the Vatican. I'll even tell you where you can eat inside the Vatican itself. If you're new here, I'm Alyssa, founder of RomeWise and this YouTube channel. I'm married to a Roman and I've lived in Rome for more than 20 years. On this channel, I love to share with you my love for Rome and all my tips and tricks so you can have your best visit here. So if you're planning to visit the Vatican, whether it's the museums, the Basilica, or both, this guide will help you find the best places to eat and drink in the area. These are places where I go with friends and family, whether we're visiting the Vatican or not. And don't worry, in the description below, I'm linking to a Google map with all the places I talk about in today's video. All right, so let's dive in. First up, breakfast. I think the best way to start your visit to the Vatican early morning is with a coffee and a pastry. At least this is a typical Roman breakfast. Depending on where you're staying, your hotel may provide this for you, but if you want to grab a coffee and a pastry in the area, these are my favorite spots. Probably my #1 suggestion for the best coffee in the area is going to be Shasha Cafe. Shasha is a fixture with locals in this neighborhood. It's historic, stylish, and known for its excellent coffee. I know you may be tempted to go for a foamy cappuccino, but I suggest you try their signature coffee. This is an espresso, which they put into a cup where they put chocolate around the sides first. It's not just a work of art, it is one of the best coffees you'll ever have. Shasha is right near the Ottaviano metro stop, making it convenient for both the Vatican Museums and St. Peter's Basilica, but you should know it doesn't open before 7 a.m. Another super local spot in the area is Cafeteria Roberto. This is a super local spot which opens at 6:10 a.m., so it's perfect for those early morning Vatican visits. If you book the morning version of the Pristine Sistine tour, your meeting point is going to be right next to the Antico Café Candia. They open at 6:15 a.m., so when you go to the meeting point, you can grab your coffee and pastry here. The coffee's good and the pastries are delicious, and every time I go, the place is full of locals. But they are used to tourists, so you can actually ask for your coffee to go, and they will be happy to oblige. Depending on which direction I'm coming from, sometimes I like to stop and have my breakfast in the Borgo. The Borgo is the little neighborhood just to the right of St. Peter's Square. My favorite place in the Borgo for a coffee and a pastry is Café Castello, but they don't open till 7:30 or 8 a.m. Another great spot for breakfast near the Vatican, believe it or not, is McDonald's. Hear me out. Yes, I know McDonald's is a big international food chain. But in Italy, they also have the kind of food and drink you'd find in a local coffee bar. Their pastries are delicious and they have a clean bathroom. Also, they are super strategically located right next to St. Peter's Square, and they open at 6:30 a.m. Speaking of international food, if you're more in the mood for pancakes, eggs, or even bagels, you can try the cafe Home Baked. This cafe right near St. Peter's Basilica is run by an American who knows the kinds of foods that tourists sometimes crave for breakfast. Huge pro tip before you visit any Roman cafe: at a typical Italian bar or cafe, it's going to be cheaper to stand at the bar and consume your coffee or pastry than it is to sit down. Most bars have table prices and bar prices, so you should check these prices before you decide to sit down. If you've only got time for a short break, here are some fantastic, fast casual options in the area. For me, one of the best places for a snack in the area is Pizzarium by Gabriele Bonci. This stand-up place specializing in pizza by the slice, pizza al taglio, is right near the Cipro metro stop. Cipro is the other metro stop besides the Ottaviano metro stop, which are closest to the Vatican Museums. When you come up out of the Cipro metro stop, take the stairs to the left and you'll see Pizzarium right in front of you. They have the most delectable selection of pizza by the slice. Everything is by weight, so just look for what you want, point to it, they'll cut it for you, and if it's the case, they'll reheat it for you too. They're also known for their gourmet supplì, which are rice balls. There's not really anywhere to sit except for one little bench outside, so you're just gonna have to make do and find some place to prop yourself and your tray and enjoy your pizza and supplì. Depending on what you get, you could also get it wrapped up to go and eat it as you walk, but I think it might be a little bit messy. The place is pretty jam-packed between 12:30 and 2:30, so I like to come early, like 11:30, 12 o'clock. Another excellent option for a quick stop is 200 Gradi, a sandwich shop that is exactly between St. Peter's Basilica and the Vatican Museums. This locally owned and run sandwich shop in Piazza Risorgimento has a list of some predefined panini, but you can also ask them to build you a sandwich out of whatever ingredients they have. And in Piazza Risorgimento, there are lots of places to sit, so you can go there and enjoy your panino if you like. When I talked about where to have breakfast, I mentioned Café Ruperto, and they're a great option for a quick lunch as well. Café Ruperto is also a tavola calda, which is something like a cafeteria. Hot food is prepared in advance and then it's on display, and you go through and pick out what you want. They'll heat it up for you, put it on a tray, and then you can take it to a table and eat it there. You'll find these all over Rome, and they're great options for a quick lunch, and this is my favorite one near the Vatican. If you're more in the mood for a proper meal, whether it's before, after, or between your Vatican visits, here are my favorite places for a sit-down meal. One of our go-to spots in this area is Zanzara. Part bistro, part wine bar. It works for lunch, dinner, or even aperitivo. Their menu is fairly modern. You can get burgers here, but you can also get typical Roman specialties as well. One of my favorite all-around places to eat near the Vatican is Sorpasso. They have an amazing selection of cheeses and cold cuts, but the rest of their menu is fantastic as well. I love eating at the bar if I'm just with one other person, but their tables in the back are really nice too because you're inside of an inner condominium courtyard, and so above you is a skylight. This is one of those places that you must book in advance or show up early before the crowds arrive. For old school, super local Roman trattorias, I recommend both Il Matriciano and Ragno d'Oro. Both of these spots near the Vatican serve traditional Roman cuisine. Both are very popular with the locals, but they're a little bit different from each other. Ragno d'Oro is pretty low-key and casual, and Il Matriciano is a little bit more upscale. And while Dal Toscano is not exactly Roman, its name Toscano means it's got Tuscan food, they are a truly old-school local restaurant serving both Tuscan food and Roman specialties. If you're up for a little bit of a walk, you could head to L'Arcangelo, one of the best places in Rome to get carbonara. L'Arcangelo is a little bit upscale and it's pretty much always fully booked, so for that one, I suggest you book in advance. Now, if you're craving seafood, I highly recommend Da Benito e Gilberto. This superb seafood restaurant is tucked away in the Borgo. It's really small, so you're going to need reservations. This is the ideal spot as long as everyone in your party is in the mood for seafood, because that's pretty much all you're going to find on the menu. If you're craving seafood, but you're tired of Roman food and you want some sushi, I highly recommend Temachino, one of Rome's Brazilian sushi spots. In the section about quick bites, I recommended Pizzarium, which is excellent for pizza by the slice. But if you're in the mood for sit-down pizza, in Rome this means having a round pizza, a pizza you eat all by yourself. Here in Rome, the pizza tends to be thin and crispy, and I've got two suggestions for where to find this pizza near the Vatican. Both San Marco Pizzeria and L'Isola della Pizza serve traditional Roman-style pizza. They also have the traditional fried appetizers that we tend to eat before our pizza. But both offer a more extensive menu, and you'll find other options there as well, such as pasta, meat, and fish. If you head to either one of these pizzeria around 7:30, you will find yourself surrounded by other tourists. But if you go around 8:30 or 9 p.m., you will see that the places are pretty full of locals. Now, when it comes to gelato, everybody has their favorites. You'll find quite a few gelateria near the Vatican, but for me, the best hands down is Gelateria dei Gracchi. It's on Via dei Gracchi, so it's a little bit of a walk away, but to me, it is absolutely worth the walk. If you don't feel like heading to Gelateria dei Gracchi and you spot a gelateria on the street, go ahead and try it. Just know that if you see gelato piled high or in unusual colors that don't look quite natural, that is not going to be the best gelato. Quality gelato should be dense. It should be low in its tin, if not covered, and all the colors should look like whatever food they are. They should not be unnatural colors, so no bright yellow for banana or bright green for pistachio. Now, if you're looking for someplace just to have an aperitivo, a nice glass of wine, here are some of my favorite places. Aperitivo is sort of the Italian version of a happy hour. It usually runs from around 5:30 or 6 o'clock till around 8 p.m. And when you order a drink, you're going to get some form of snack with that drink. I've already mentioned Sorpasso. This is a great place to eat, but it's also a wine bar, and you can just enjoy sitting outside or sitting at the bar and having a drink there. They have a sister wine bar called Passaguai, which is just one street over. They have a lot fewer food options. And right near both of those is Zanzara, which I mentioned earlier. It functions as a wine bar, bistro, place to eat, but it's a great place to have an aperitivo. Another superb enoteca or wine bar in the area is Del Frate. Probably my favorite place to have an aperitivo near the Vatican is at the Hotel Residenza Paolo VI. This old-fashioned hotel has a bar on the roof. From there, you have amazing views of St. Peter's Dome and Bernini's Colonnade. The rooftop bar is actually inside. They don't have tables outside, but you can take your drink and walk outside on the roof and get those beautiful views. There's another rooftop bar in the area, but I hesitate to recommend it because it's gotten extremely expensive in recent years. It's actually where Alessandro and I got married. It's at the Hotel Atlanta Star. The views are amazing, and you have to book in advance. So it is worth it if you feel like a splurge. If you are wondering where you can eat inside the Vatican, you do have a few limited choices. The two main sites that people want to visit when they head to the Vatican are St. Peter's Basilica and the Vatican Museums where the Sistine Chapel is. St. Peter's Basilica is a church and there is nowhere to eat inside. However, if you choose to climb the dome, you'll find a cafe on the roof. This is not really ideal because you have to choose to climb the dome, you have to pay, and there are not a lot of options in this bar. It's just something in case you need a snack. The Vatican Museums is another story. Inside the Vatican Museums, which arguably takes most of your time when visiting the Vatican, you'll find a couple of different options for places to eat. The first is everyone's favorite, the Pinecone Courtyard. There is a huge cafe in the middle of the Pinecone Courtyard. It's open all day long while the museums are open, so you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, aperitivo, or just snacks throughout the day. The food is not amazing, but it's fine, and the ambiance can't be beat. You don't really have to book this in advance, although you can. Some tours you can book come with breakfast in the Pinecone Courtyard. Also, you can book these on the Vatican website, but you can also usually just show up and you should be able to find a table there. But there's another place to eat inside the Vatican Museums that I think a lot of people are not aware of. Right near the entrance, if you head down, you're going to find a huge cafeteria-style cafe. There's a bar there where you'll find typical things you'd find in an Italian bar, like sandwiches, pastries, hot and cold drinks. There's also a cafeteria-style pizzeria. It's not great pizza either, but again, it's just sustenance if you need something. So to recap, there isn't great food inside of the Vatican, but you do have options if you need a snack. And as for St. Peter's Basilica, if you don't feel like climbing the dome, your visit there may not take more than 30 minutes, even an hour, and you should be fine to go somewhere else to eat afterwards. Now in this video, I've given you lots of places to eat near the Vatican, but I have even more of them on my webpage, Where to Eat Near the Vatican, on the RomeWise website. And if you're wondering where to eat near the Colosseum, watch this video.